Alright, hello, this is Precipitator from Rainland Society, and I do have my mic on for this because I'm going to be going over there we go. I'm going to be going over my Chimney Canopy extension that I've currently named the Skyreach complex. So I'm basically just going to go over some of the ideas and how I made the rooms, etc. You know, explain everything that I did, not everything, but things that might be interesting. So we're just going to go here, and I'll leave the DevTools on so that I can save myself in this tricky situation, and so that you can see all the room names. So it starts in D01. Originally I had planned to have a platform down here, but I learned the hard way that with the Andrew editor you can only do so much and not render any changes. So this is my first room. I did plan for it to be smaller, but it ended up being a lot bigger because of camera issues. Everybody doesn't know how the camera works, but people thought they did. Actually, I can't really blame them. Yeah, I'm gonna explain why vultures are here for a moment, in a moment, because it is inside. So the person on Discord is called Wilbur, and they are the person that made the route. So I did a joke, I made a joke saying that we'll ask people to test the route for them, him, her, whatever, it, I don't really know. So I said, I'll test it for you if you teach me how to do the level editor, how to use the level editor. Can you please go away? Okay, I don't remember what the toss vulture skyward thing is. So I tested the route for a day, and afterwards I did the level editing. So Wilbur guided me through everything, and I created this room in a few hours. Well, not a few, more like 6, 8, I don't know. Took a long while because I was completely new. I didn't know how most things worked, etc. You're not interested in that. And then now, the reason why things used to be so difficult, oh, for God's sake, please go away, was because the wiki page didn't have a lot on it. Let me just show that off real quick. So you would have to learn things yourself, but in this case Wilbur helped me get started. But now there's a wiki page in case you want to try and get started yourself. So ignore those black blobs on the right, they're actually bugs. I just have to re-render this room and then hopefully it'll be fixed. So this is the second one I made. It took me a lot less. First it was very blocky, which I actually quite liked, but I asked people about if they had any tips that I could change with the geometry, and the geometry is all the stuff, what you can walk on, etc., and interact with. And they commented more on aesthetics, so I changed that as well. They taught me how trash worked. There's an earlier version in which the background was all messed up. Anyway, then I made this R03. And my future plans for this room are to add, obviously, about chimneys and buildings and whatnot on the left. But to start, I just want to get all the basic down for every room that's planned in my map or my extension, whatever. Actually, here on the right you can see there's a block missing, and that's because with this chimney tile, they're called mega chimney C or something, this would stick out really badly. And I have old versions of the rooms on the Discord that you can see and download, but they'll be very far back in the chat, so I'll probably repost them or upload them somewhere else if you guys are interested in that. But anyway, so the camera was effed up here as well a bit, and later I changed it. So this area where I'm standing on, it used to be all the way up on top of the screen. That looked really bad. Here's actually our first shelter. I'll go in that. So making the shelter was really easy. I just copied a existing shelter and edited it into the map, because that's, Wilbur said that it was easier in a chat I had, not specifically when I had this problem, but it wasn't really a problem for me because I had discussed it in the past. Anyway, so yeah, I've actually almost forgot to explain why this room has vultures in it, and it's because the basic principle of this map is it's kind of inspired by the wall and Chimney Canopy, obviously. Let me actually show you this area here. And I wanted an area in the Chimney Canopy that I could relax in with no rain, all high up in the sky, with the above clouds view, which I will show you later. It's basically the cities and such you can see when you're on top of a wall. I mean not the very top, but like on the side of it, of the clouds and stuff. So I wanted to have it be like that. And actually, I'll skip this quickly because I'll explain this later, as you've probably seen by the number. This is not the order that I made these in. So this is back here. I actually went around and added this in later. So it goes from 2 to 4. So this was a room where I used the mirror tool a lot, which means that it makes the same changes on both sides of a map. So you can see this room and this room, or not room, camera they're called, are basically identical. And the original layout that I had for this was a lot different, but I like the way it turned out. So I'll just show you what it's like in the middle here. I didn't change this room too much, just a few minor improvements. I could probably change this to a rubble of trash, a mountain of trash, instead of just random concrete. This was originally, this was supposed to be the room, like just this camera was supposed to be above 02, because I had no idea how to continue. And if you can see this dust that happens, some of you may know that that's the effect that you get at the very top of a wall when you actually look at the big cities. And the trick is that you can't see that background because I've got the layers 2 and 3 behind here. So it's supposed to signify the dust and stuff around here. And with this room, if you've been really attentive, you have noticed that earlier this was 06, and it's because I had problems with the room connections, because you can't have more than one to the same room. So if you, I put these as placeholders. These actually go to, I didn't edit these rooms at all, I just put them in for them to be here. So these all go to exactly the same room. And here I can demonstrate the problem. It goes at the top entrance when I was at the bottom. Same here, one more time. Yeah, like that. And the idea of a subregion name, the suit filters, was actually Wilbur actually suggested that for a name of the entire region, and I thought that's not really what my idea was, so I still incorporated that into this. So when you this is basically the path you take. Actually, I'll show you this as well. Yeah, it's not a fake on this side. It's basically the other room mirrored. Actually, two different projects. And I want to add some fruit here that you can get. If you saw this on the side, this is like an airlock idea. Okay, this is taking quite a time, but it's the first episode, so there are a lot of rooms to do. Let's imagine we went through that room again. Now we go out to the eastern antenna array. And I'm actually in a radio club, so I kind of try to be inspired with my designs. So this is the design on the right. You saw on the western antenna array only. So I thought I'd try to change that. I didn't want the disc antennas from the Sky Islands communications array because they don't really fit at the side, they're not directional. So this is a Yagi antenna. I tried to make it look a bit like a Yagi. And this middle part is, I thought, let's try and change it up, make it a bit extreme. So I tried to make this resemble a loop. So in real life there would be two behind here, but it's 2D, so I kind of didn't do that, obviously. And this is just supposed to be a support to hold it in the middle. So it's called a loop. And then I tried, these are kind of like the Yagis, but they're more like household ones you'd see like on the top of your roof. This is supposed to be a dipole, actually, and all of these, you can actually reach all of these, because in the future I want to make a antenna control room here, and I'll probably change this to be a platform. I just forgot while making the room that was my idea. And this one you can actually not reach, as far as I know, and you're not supposed to reach it because there's nothing up here. I didn't want people to skip up the side of the chimney. I wanted them to go through interior. You see this effect in the background? That's what I was talking about. That's the above clouds view. I still have rain in this room, but well, it's because I'm imagining there will still be a few clouds above this. So I try to keep this view quite low. The way this above clouds view works is you have this in a very remote location, and you have to mess the coordinates up, change the second digit, not the second digit, the second column, whatever, the second value of the coordinates to a high number. In this case it was 1500. So this is the power plant. Originally it was called the primary machine complex, but I decided to change it. I might still change all the names in the future, who knows. These are just kind of placeholders. And I have a few subregions planned, and like some, not really as early on as now, but some of the later rooms are inspired by Prey, like the names and certain features. So this is the machine room. It's got a, this is actually the first room I used props in, and the only one so far. And it did lots of layer stuff here, and it looks a bit strange sometimes in some places. But I try to make it look as nice as possible. There's a graffiti here, and I know it's on those pipes on the left, but the other layers made it look even worse, so I stuck with that. Here's a conveyor. Added that support on the right to make it a bit more believable, because you don't know if it's completely fastened. And conveyor wouldn't really work if it's fastened to something. So this is kind of a anti-jank thing I did, because people could be stupid and fall down here and then be, well, actually, yeah, Problem solved. But I thought originally they would get trapped down there, so I just made this long support in case they have to climb up. But turns out they don't even need that. This will lead onto a giant staircase. And I'm not going to explain my map now because you'll see all the stuff I do in a future video. And if I say it now, it'll be hard to explain and it won't make much sense to you. Anyway, let's go in the shelter real quick. There we go. This is the one on the leftmost side, the Chimney Canopy. And it has an alternative version, but it's a bit broken and doesn't look as good. The new one is meant to be in an outside region, so I'll show you real quick. If you turn this down, you see these light rays, but I didn't really want them, so I made the clouds cover the whole area. And it's like in this room, if you enable the clouds, it looks completely stupid, and just no. So it's that. And the thing, I added these poles so you could actually go over these storage boxes. It's a mistake I made in my first proper render. This was kinda inspired by Rain World gates, because I tried to make it look a little bit like it, but still a unique design. And this is the room I finished today. It's a small staircase, and I decided to keep this as part of the suit filters because it isn't really the power plant. So this is a gate inspired by Prey. Originally the design was different as well, but I ended up doing it like a decontamination room, so these would close and then these fans would work, blah blah blah. And this is going to go into the crew quarters, and this up here is going to go into the giant staircase. In progress name is the steps, and it's like 11 or 10 cameras, not rooms, tall. Okay, anyway, so yeah, it's this room. I tried to make this brick. It's kind of like, it's inspired by SCP-087B, but it also looks better than concrete, so I decided to keep it. I added those fences there as scaffolding, and this is supposed to be a way back into the main room. Let's actually go in here for the next thing I want to explain, because earlier I mentioned that these are 2 rooms, and basically, yeah, I did say I added placeholders, and this used to be a straight connection, but I split it up and I removed all the random items to make it look believable. And this area obviously goes to, nope, that's a placeholder thing. Let me switch. Fell for my own trick there. A trap, whatever, I don't really know. Not that good at English. So this goes up here. And there are lots of different ideas. I'm just gonna finish up like making another Western antenna array area at the top and extending the base chimney, which is the starting room, down. Oh, I actually discovered that beam on the left should actually be connected to the wall. If you saw it, just pause the video, whatever. This is gonna lead to the staircase. Common glitch. Yeah, this is the inside of a chimney that leads above the clouds, and these vultures going from the sides or whatever through holes. No one knows, but that's kind of the idea. And I have these fans in the background. And this, originally I wanted to make another chimney or have this extend up to the top, but then I thought if we have the upper half and they jump down, they're going to be really angry when they die because they went off the screen. But anyway, that's my first video on the Skyreach complex. So I'll just show the map here again. Just a bunch of different rooms, and these layers are very different. Originally I had planned a different layout, but I try to make it so that it fits with this map. And this is actually the first time I'm seeing this as working properly. But I'll sort the map out more in the future, try and make it better. But it's just try to make it kinda work. So I'm actually quite happy with this. And in the future I want to add more paths to go forward and more paths to go back, etc. You can see these layers are just ridiculous. And these rooms actually overlap, which is good. Room connections are absolutely crazy. You won't see this later, it's just because I went in that placeholder room. You see all those connections. Here's the antenna array, that should really be further down, but because of the map and the effect, that didn't work. So I did count all the rooms up until the level of a wall and try to see how many rooms I have, or camera views or whatever, until I don't have any rain anymore. Any rain that attacks me, whatever. So yeah, actually another crazy property is this room has flood and rain, but I mean, I've rambled way too much. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this development overview and whatnot, and I should make one in a few more weeks because I'm a bit busy with school and I'm going on holiday tomorrow and I have lots of time to continue making rooms. But anyway, thanks for watching this. If you have any questions, you can go on the Discord server, my own server, private message me or leave a comment. Sorry for the mic tap. And I'll try and explain whatever I can, or ask other modders if there's a question I can answer. So anyway, thanks for watching. This is Precipitator from Brainland Society out.